Welcome to Creatively Exposed, a podcast and safe space for Black and marginalized creatives to empower, educate, and uplift you through the final product of self and creation. Bring a homie, share with a homie, and enjoy the show. Hey y'all, welcome back to Creatively Exposed. And last week's MIA episode was just because it got a little too late in the weekend between pop-ups and family coming over, and so therefore I was thrown for a whole entire loop. But I hope you enjoy yet another author, ex-indie author HD. Met him through Voodonauts Fellowship. And I actually have an episode about Voodonauts. I will link it in the show notes. So if you're into like sci-fi, fantasy, speculative fiction, or you write and you don't even know that you're into it, definitely check out the link they just dropped for this year's Voodonauts Fellowship. I know I'm here like, so can I go again? So it is a great experience, and, apply. Don't self-reject for it. And so this week we will be talking, I say we, but I'll be talking to HD as an author and pick his brain in a way I haven't been able to. So enjoy. And do not forget that you are magic. Pas oublier ou c'est magique. No te olvides que eres magia. Happy Caribbean Heritage Month. And happy Pride. Hope you enjoy the interview. So off top, just for anyone who doesn't know you, who are you? What are you passionate about? What are you known for?
Ooh.
All of the things, all of the good juicy things.
Yeah, man. These depend on who you ask for some of these things. But my name is Hugh HD Hunter. I write books for teenagers is how I usually phrase it. Mm-hmm. Fiction for young adults. I love connecting with young people and literature and the expression of their thoughts and emotions. It's like something that I'm really passionate about. I write a lot about social issues and also just like the social climate of the world that we live in pretty often. So my work zigs and zags around a lot of topics that are of import to a lot of people, but I try to structure them in ways that kids can really gain from them. And so that's always my hope, that by the time anything I write ends up in the hands of a young person, that they feel like it was worth their time, whatever time it took to digest it. They feel like it was a worthwhile experience. So that's me. And outside of that, I do a bunch of things. Really whatever is the interest of the day and just kind of run with that.
That's a vibe. The interest of the day. What made you interested in writing for teenagers?
Yeah. So when I was a kid, I did not have a home life that was like super expressive or open for dialogue with a lot of topics. It was a pretty, when we think about like traditional families with traditional gender roles and all that kind of stuff, that was our household. And so I was a shy kid. I was a quiet kid and always very like in my own head. And, oftentimes pretty anxious about asking certain questions or trying to talk about certain things with my parents. And so I found an escape, and not like, an escape from reality, but an escape into knowledge, almost like through books, like finding books that even if they weren't super academics, like I could just learn about different things in different places. And if I'm curious about like travel, then I can read something about people traveling, you know.
Right.
If I'm curious about why certain families do this and other families do that, like I can probably find something to read about that. So as a young kid, I found a lot of solace and like peace in reading. And so when I started thinking about who I wanted to write for, I was like, hopefully I can be an author that helps recreate that experience for other young people, you know, who may feel the same way or who may not know that they feel like that until they read that thing. True,
very true. So how many projects do you have? Like how many books? Wait, hold on. That's two separate questions because I also realize the big thing of that question. How many published works do you have?
Yeah. So right now I have 2 published books, and both of them are self-published. And that is how I started off as a writer. So I started off in 2016, self-publishing all of my own work. The first one was a collection of short stories. There was a lot of retellings and mixed in with some realistic stories. It was really just like an expose. I was like, I want to think of every different kind of thing that I could write and put it in here. No matter who picks it up, hopefully they find something that's interesting to them. So that was book number 1 in 2016. Book number 2 in 2018 was a novella, a short work of fiction about mental health and coming of age. And that was the one that was really geared more toward the young adult audience. And so in terms of when you search and try to find me places, the 2 things that you can find that you can get a hold of right now, that is it.
Okay. Why self-publishing?
Well, even though I knew that I wanted to be a writer for a long time, like even since I was a kid, I didn't really follow that path through school. And so for the most part, I'm a self-taught fiction writer, you know, like in 2019, we're in 2021 right now. Like in 2019, I went to my first ever professional fiction workshop, which was also my first ever workshop. You know what I mean?
That's dope. Yeah.
So like I took 1 creative writing class in all of college. I have an English degree, but that's mostly, you know, analytical essays and things of that nature. So like I had good foundations, but I knew nothing about creative writing and even less than nothing about publishing. So when I was thinking about, you know, I want to write something, my knowledge base of how to even make that happen that wasn't self-publishing, I was not confident in that at all. But when you put self in front of something, I am a person that is pretty autodidactical, and like I will research things and I will find out ways to teach myself how to do stuff. And so it was like, there's an option that I can figure it out and go from there. Like, all right, whatever that is, I'll start off with that one and see what happens after that.
Right. And so you're also an entrepreneur. So I'm curious about that whole like lifestyle and decision to do that.
Yeah. It was a weird, it was a weird path to get here. My dad, he owned his own business for most of the time that I was growing up. And so I watched him, you know, get up at the crack of dawn and work really hard and, you know, go through all of the struggles that business owners go through, trying to find good help and, you know, messing up on money things and taxes sometimes, like, you know, you name it.
Yeah.
And I saw it happen when I was growing up. And I was always like, why would I ever want to have my own business? You know, like, why would I ever want to do this? I'm watching somebody else do it and watching how difficult it is. But after being in the workforce for a little while and just having my creative like pursuits just pull at me, like to the point where I can't even focus on this work that y'all paying me to do because I really care so little about it. It's so much more about these, not only the things that I'm working on, but like the things that I see for myself in the future of my life, like these dreams. And I know that there's no way that I can make them happen with the hours that I have in a day if I'm giving 8 of them to you.
Yeah.
So I made the transition out of the workforce in 2019.
Okay.
And, so most of my entrepreneurship has been during the pandemic, which has been interesting
wild,
as well.
Isn't it?
It's so wild, but I'm grateful for it because every time that I put something down that I didn't really need to be doing, something else that I had been waiting on came right to me. It was just like I had to free up enough space in my life to welcome in all of the stuff that I had been trying to manifest. And that is why I can do entrepreneurship, because even though it's hard and even when you don't know when your next check is coming and all of that stuff, I will never, ever, in my body and in my mind, I will never lose the feeling of having the freedom to like do what I want to do with my time. So I don't think there's any turning back for me unless things get really bad.
Say, look, I might do a little part-time from time to time, but
right.
I love that so much. It's a very timely statement that you have said. So I'm working my way up to it, but yeah.
It takes time.
I think it's dope just being able to know that like out of the creations that you have, you're always provided for in a way, What does it all entail though? Like your entrepreneurship, it includes writing, but like what is it all that you do?
Yeah. So before I left the workforce, I was a career coach for students. That was my main industry that I worked in. I worked at a variety of colleges and universities across the nation. In some capacities, I was just like the guy to go and see when you needed help with your resume.
Right.
And then in other roles, I was more of somebody who was representing the university in like strategic conversations with employers to see how can we like actually create more jobs for students when they're ready to graduate and go into them. So I have like pretty good knowledge of the American workforce and economy and how people get jobs and what jobs are on the horizon and all that good stuff. So one of the main things that I do to keep money in my pocket is I have a kind of like a boutique career coaching business. We write a lot of resumes, myself and one other business partner. And we offer people career coaching at whatever level they might need it, and students with like application help and editing to grad school and all that kind of thing. So that is something that I spend about half my time doing at this point. And I do enjoy doing it because it's great to help people with whatever their dreams are, or at least their next goal. And then they come back and they're like, hey, I got the job, or, it's always, those moments are really rewarding. So there's that. There's the writing projects that I have already published that I get royalties from. So that's nice, just from a self-publishing perspective. I do creative writing workshops. So before the pandemic, it was in person, but lately a lot of virtual stuff. I'll go into classrooms or schools and lead students through like different activities, give them some writing craft help. And, sometimes I get paid for that. I will sometimes like conversely do that same sort of workshop style for the resume writing and coaching stuff for other audiences if they want that sort of thing. I also have property that I own here in Georgia, and I have a tenant, so I'm able to, make enough money to keep a house standing.
Yes, you're out here for real.
Piecing it all together until I don't have to anymore.
So, what does creativity mean for you?
Oh, this is a question. I think creativity is using the unique parts of your, you meaning just all of us, like anybody, using the unique parts of your personality, of the way that you think, and of the way that you see the world, using that perspective that is unique to you to express yourself in a way that like has meaning, you know? So whether it be through dance,